George Martin was always going to be the Beatles' secret weapon whenever they entered the studio. Half of the songs that they wrote were pretty simplistic when they first began working with him, rooted in catchy melodies and a direct emotional appeal. Yet even in those early days, Martin could sense the raw potential beneath the surface. As the band evolved, especially moving into their experimental phase, he became far more than just a producer. He was a translator of ambition, helping shape their abstract ideas into fully realized sonic landscapes. Looking back at that transformation, it's almost difficult to believe that the same group of young men from Liverpool would go on to redefine the boundaries of popular music. But for all of the elaborate arrangements and studio innovations he brought to their recordings, Martin never lost sight of one crucial element: the words. He wanted to understand what the band were trying to say, particularly when they began moving beyond the familiar territory of love songs. Because let's just say that Martin was less than thrilled with what he was initially offered. The early catalog of the Beatles wasn't lacking in charm or quality, but lyrically, many of the songs revolved around similar themes: love, longing, heartbreak. These were the pillars of pop music at the time, and the band executed them better than most. Still, there was little in the way of complexity or deeper narrative. The lyrics were effective, but they rarely ventured into territory that challenged the listener's imagination or intellect. That began to change with Rubber Soul, which pointed toward a more mature direction. Songs became more introspective, more nuanced, and less constrained by formula. But it was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band that truly marked the leap. This wasn't just a step forward, it was a full dive into artistic reinvention. The band had grown up, both musically and lyrically, and they were no longer content with simply writing hits. They wanted to create worlds. Although the concept album idea wasn't fully cohesive in execution, it provided a framework for experimentation. Within that space, John Lennon found inspiration in something unexpectedly innocent: a drawing by his son Julian Lennon titled "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds." While many listeners immediately fixated on the supposed connection between the song's initials and LSD, Martin himself was largely unconcerned with that interpretation. To him, the song operated on a completely different level. It was a surreal journey, reminiscent of the whimsical absurdity found in the works of Lewis Carroll and the dreamlike imagery associated with Salvador Dali. It wasn't about decoding a hidden message, it was about immersing oneself in a vivid, imaginative landscape. Even Lennon, who often dismissed much of his own work with brutal honesty, had unknowingly created something that stood apart. Years later, while working on the remix project Love, Martin revisited the song with fresh ears. Removed from the cultural noise and controversy of its original release, the lyrics struck him in a profound way. He described them as some of the most extraordinary words he had ever encountered in a Beatles song. In his view, Lennon had pushed himself to construct a psychedelic vision that rivaled literary and artistic greats, yet retained a sense of childlike innocence. The imagery, tangerine trees, marmalade skies, kaleidoscope eyes, felt both fantastical and strangely pure. The song came together quickly, but its simplicity was deceptive. Beneath it lay a kind of magic that couldn't be easily replicated. Lennon's association with LSD has always colored interpretations of the song, and it's understandable why many listeners draw that connection. However, even when stripped of that context, the track remains powerful. Its strength lies not in any supposed reference, but in its ability to transport the listener. At the height of their creative powers, the Beatles crafted something that transcended explanation. Even if some parents of the era viewed it with suspicion, its inclusion in the Yellow Submarine film felt entirely natural. The vibrant, surreal animation mirrored the song's atmosphere perfectly, offering a visual counterpart to its sonic dreamscape. When revisited in the Love album, the song takes on an even more immersive quality. Much of that can be attributed to the work of Giles Martin, who helped reimagine the track using modern production techniques. The updated mix reveals layers that were previously buried, allowing each instrument to shine with newfound clarity. The opening piano notes in particular feel almost like an invitation, guiding the listener into a world where reality and imagination blur seamlessly. Yet, no matter how much the production evolves, the core of the song remains unchanged. Lennon's lyrics continue to be its defining feature. He wasn't just writing a song, he was constructing an experience. While Strawberry Fields Forever explored similar themes of introspection and surrealism, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds went further. It was the full descent into the rabbit hole, a realization of the artistic promise that the Beatles had been building toward. And in George Martin's eyes, it stood as a testament to just how far they had come, from simple love songs to something truly extraordinary.